Welcome, everybody. It is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and this is a big day for us as we're doing the launch of the Wondrous Gut 90-Day Health Challenge, money back guaranteed. So first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody for being here. And I wanted to say that we're thrilled to have you. And this is a big day for us. So um, first of all, a big shout out to Kelly Weisman for helping us with Facebook, to Alex for her helping us with YouTube channels, YouTube, Rumble, etc. And everybody else, thank you so much for everything that you've done to help us get this word out and for showing up and for coming and all of that. So I'm Brooke Kildee. I'm about to pass this over to Alistair Kildee, and we are going to give you a presentation and we'll go from there. So thank you guys. Thank you for showing up. Alistair, take it away.
Okay. We help if you get started. Okay. And we get rid of that. Hello, everybody. As Brooke said, today is a pretty big day in our life. It's been nearly 7 years since we started down this journey, and it's been quite an interesting ride. So today we're going to be launching our sales process. We have been selling for a little while, and really today is about getting started. When I was a young man in high school, I used to love cross-country running. Loved it, long distance. The only thing I didn't like about it was that last 100 yards. When you're coming down the home stretch and you've given everything and you've got to find more. And you finally get to that finish line and you can collapse. Well, I can tell you that both Brooke and I, we just made it to the start line, not the finish line. And after 7 years, it feels a little bit like we've already run the marathon, because it's been quite a challenge getting to this point. For a lot of you, you would have heard us in the past talking about our intentions of this company to restore the planet. You don't hear a lot about that anymore, and you're certainly not going to hear a lot about that today. None of that has gone away, but what we have now is the means to do that. And way it may not seem completely logical how we are going about it, there is an awful lot of time and planning has gone into this. So we're just going to get into it. It may seem a little unusual. Yes?
Hun, I was just going to interrupt. I don't know if everybody else is feeling this way, but you sound very low. If you could just get a little bit.
Is that any better?
Um,
is that better?
Yeah. Is anybody else having difficulty hearing him? A little. Okay.
I don't know how you turn the volume up on this. Is
Just
that clear in here?
Speak closer to the mic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just about eating it. So
yeah, there you go.
Okay. Anyway, coming back to this first picture, when I was looking through the PowerPoint presentations and slides, I saw this one, and I chose this for a very unusual reason, because I think this picture depicts Brooke and I rather well. We are a little bit like cacti in the sense that we survive on almost nothing, and we survive through the most atrocious conditions that you can imagine to get to where we are today. And for those of you who know us, you'll know that one of us is really a prickly son of a person, and that's probably not Brooke. So we'll just move on now. So a little bit about us. There's the creators of this company, this concept is Brooke and Alistair. That's us. We've been on this path for pretty much since we met, as we've been committed to restoring the planet, but we've taken a little bit of a roundabout way to get there. Between us, we have around 13 business startups, which should tell anybody who's ever tried to start a business that we are certifiable, because very few people turn up for a second attempt, let alone 13. However, we took the attitude towards these businesses as we've gone through our life that they weren't failures when they didn't make it. They were just learning experiences. And if by going back and visiting those, you can learn something out of it, there was nothing lost. So today, after 13 business startups, we feel we're pretty qualified to take this company forward. Together, we bring around 55 years in the alternative health industry. That's a lot of experience, and not all of it fantastic. It's been, like we said, a very interesting learning experience to understand the world that we're in and the paradigm that we live within. About probably 15 years ago, both of us separately became pretty disillusioned with what we were doing. Although we've always been at the cutting edge of bringing the best health products to the market, we realized all we were doing was playing the same game as the drug industry. They'd converted us all to chasing symptoms. So that's all the drug industry does. You spend 5 or 10 minutes with a doctor, you tell him what's wrong with you, what you're feeling, I should say. You've got no idea what's wrong with you, and he gives you some drugs to deal with those symptoms. And unfortunately, with symptoms, as long as the cause persists, so do the symptoms. We focused from realizing from that point on that we needed to create some real foundational change, and we started to look for ingredients that were foundational health products. Now, the difference between a foundational health product and a symptomatic product is pretty straightforward. For example, pain is a symptom of something going wrong in your body. So if you've got a product to treat pain, you're treating a symptom. You're not treating what caused that pain, obviously. And that's pretty much the world that we live in. Whether you're taking a drug to treat that symptom or whether you're taking a natural product, you're still dealing with symptoms. Now, after 7 years, and we've been on quite the circuit going round and round, trying to come up with these solutions, and we were incredibly successful. We've managed to create some phenomenal products, and then came to the sad realization that apart from a few people like the ones on the call today, nobody really cares. Nobody, certainly in power, really cares about fixing anything that's wrong with this planet. So we've come full circle, because while we have developed products that are quite extraordinary and can bring healthy food to us, we realize that if the human population's stomach or gut is not working, it doesn't matter how good a quality the food is that you're eating, you can't absorb it. So we have some pretty phenomenal products to come after this, but first things first, you have to fix the gut. And it's a very interesting thing when you look at what's going on in the world. It's completely reflected by what's going on in our stomach. So if we start to heal our gut, I think you'll find we'll start to heal the planet. And one of the things we definitely learned over the last 7 years is life is what happens to you while you are busy making other plans. Because believe you me, we would not be sitting here today if we had any choice. We would have been doing this 5 years ago. Now, this photo I chose not because we're trying to show that we're inclusive, because we are. If you're a human being, you're welcome. Probably your pets are more welcome, because I find animals are a lot nicer than most humans, but everybody in this planet is welcome, even a few aliens if you're out there. As I said, we started with a clear plan, and having 13 startups between us, we know how to create a business. We're going to start off with cutting edge hemp health products and the Wondrous gut. That was nearly in 2018 we were going to launch this. We also had dog health and animal health products that were going to come after we'd created our marketplace with the human health products. Then we were going to fund the trials to put these ingredients back into the food chain to create healthy food commercially so that we fix the problem. Then that was the plan. Reality was a little different. First thing that hit us was a credit card processing scam, which sucked about 30,000 businesses that were in the hemp industry out of the hemp industry, out of business completely. After giving everybody the credit card ability to process credit cards to take hemp transactions, they pulled the plug and everybody lost their business. Delayed us. Then along came COVID, literally the week we were launching our business, and killed that. That was the finally getting the hemp products launched. Dead as a doornail. Fast forward about a year, we had the dog chews, the second stage of our business plan, ready to launch, and that got killed by COVID. So nothing left to do. We spent the next 3 years developing the final stage of our business model, which is producing products and methods to fix the food chain. And like I said, we were successful, but then we discovered we were a bit like the plumber who found the cure for cancer. Nobody wanted to talk to them unless it was about their plumbing. What do we know about food? What do we know about any of this? We come from the alternative health background. So hence, we find ourselves today, nearly 7 years later, launching Wondrous Gut and the 90-day Gut Health Challenge. So what is the Wondrous Gut and the 90-day Gut Challenge? It's pretty simple. It's a natural solution for restoring gut health and natural immunity. Natural immunity. There's a word you may hear occasionally, but pretty seldom do you actually experience this in today's world. And we back this with a money-back guarantee, and there are reasons we do that. Before we get into all of that, I need to give you some information to think with, because before we can explain the solution, you've got to understand what the problem is. So the first thing I want to ask you, when you think about bacteria or you hear the word bacteria, do you think good or do you think bad? Very important, because subconsciously, most of us, even consciously, think bad, and there's a reason for that. If you go to the medical industry, if you ask them, basically they look at the human body, the human anatomy is made up of organs and systems, blood, bone, and tissue. But reality, we're made up of over 3 trillion cells. You want to know something spooky? Not one of those cells touch. So why on earth are we not a blob on the ground? Kind of an interesting thought. Sidetrack though. And there's around 300 million of those cells dying off and regenerating every second. For a population that hates change, it's just insane. We are the very definition of change. A second goes past and you're already quite different than you were a second ago. Now, this is where it gets a little confusing for people, because while we have 3 trillion cells, we have 100 times more bacteria in our body than we do cells. 99% plus of those are beneficial and absolutely essential to life and health. Now, the medical approach when we have a gut imbalance is simple. Kill them all. Yep, antibiotics. You got something out of control, we'll just kill everything. What do you need a gut for? What do you need a microbiome? Seriously. Think about it. We have antibiotics from the doctors, and while that's got less since it was in 2015, mostly because we ended up with a major over subscription, or prescription, I should say, prescribing of antibiotics. But that was mostly because it was in the food chain. I did the maths the other day. It worked out that Americans were consuming nearly 2 ounces of antibiotics a year. That's every man, woman, and child in America, 2 ounces a year, just through the food chain. Now think about it. They put chlorine in the water to kill the bad bacteria so you don't get sick. But chlorine cannot differentiate between good bacteria or the less than 1% that are the bad bacteria, so it kills it all. Every time you drink a water out of the tap, that chlorine is going straight into the microbiome in your stomach and doing serious damage. And then let's just throw on top of that vaccines, and we won't get into that conversation except that it's not particularly good for us. And when you consider that we are what we eat, and you think,
till the 23rd, and he flies back
wait
to
a second.
Holland. My mom has the 3rd of June a checkup with the surgeon.
Okay. Can someone please mute themselves?
We go from Holland.
Is that Emma?
That's what I
Emma,
Yeah.
hello. Hello, we're
Can't
back.
find. There we go.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
All right, so where
Sorry.
were we? So if we are what we eat, and you look at the food that is grown today, unless you're growing your own, it's basically herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, chemical fertilizers, and that is our food. That's what you consume, and we wonder why we struggle. So let's have a look at where this attitude, this way of living has gotten us today. Right now in this world, we are facing a global pandemic level gut health crisis. 1 in 1,000 people die every year from gut-related issues around the world, and growing. Now, for most people in the Western world, you're thinking, oh yeah, third world countries, yeah, that's about right. Well, I'm sorry, but those statistics are identical whether you're in a third world country or in a first world country. In the United States, 1 in 4 surgeries are gut-related. 70 million in 2022 Americans were diagnosed with a GI disease. But in a survey done by the US Gut Institute, 60% of the 78,000 people surveyed stated they had GI issues last week. Now, to give you an example, Brooke was on a business networking platform, and there were 14 people in the room, and they had to start the conversation with a question. So Brooke asked everybody on the call if they could put their hand up if they had a gut issue. Out of the 14 people on there, 13 of them put their hand up, and I think the last one was probably just too embarrassed. Look at the costs. In America, it's 136 billion US dollars in direct healthcare costs associated with gut. That's more than heart disease and quite a few others. In 2020, the probiotic market was estimated to hit 89 billion US dollars worldwide by the year 2030. I forgot to add that. However, in this year, the global probiotic market is estimated to hit $84 billion. That's almost the same figure 6 years earlier and only 3 years after that prediction was made. It's out of hand, ladies and gentlemen. Why? That's a big question. Why is this not being talked about everywhere? Why is this not the topic of conversation like the pandemic, supposed pandemic that COVID was? Maybe there are hundreds of billions of reasons why this isn't being discussed. Like I said, global health direct costs in the USA is 136 billion in 2022. 70 million GI patients on 3 to 7 prescriptions each. Now, those prescription costs, for some reason, are not included in the 136 billion. I wonder why. Let's see, 70 million, we'll take the average figure of 5 prescriptions, and let's say they're only filled 3 times a year, not every month, but 3 times a year. That's 1,050 million prescriptions a year. And if you're looking at $100 per prescription, you might start to get the idea of why this isn't being discussed. There was just recently a new report that's come out that says medical drugs are now the leading cause of death in America. And I come from a bit of a medical family, and I always used to have a bit of fun with some of them. Let's get to bury their mistakes, so they don't usually get sued for them. It's just a fact of life or death. Now, when you say that this isn't hitting mainstream, let's just take a look. This is a article that came out on mainstream media. It's kind of shocking. Understanding the role of gut bacteria in our health. Now let's have a look at some of the diseases that are included. C. difficile infection. Okay, that's colon cancer. Yeah, it relates to the gut. IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, definitely a gut issue. Inflammatory bowel disease, gut issue. Multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, allergies, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, mental illness. And by the way, if you think these studies were put out by some backyard organizations, let's just take a look. Gut microbiome, Cleveland Clinic, C. difficile infection, Mayo Clinic. So no, these are not backyard operators at all. This is starting to hit mainstream media, and it should. So let's have a quick look at why Wondrous Grow is different to what you're going to find on the market. The first thing, this is not a drug. It's a natural solution to, well, actually, it's not really a natural problem. It's unnatural because we created it, but it is a problem in nature. GI issues are an imbalance. It is not a disease. These Wondrous Grow is grown. Gut, sorry. Wondrous gut is grown. It's not manufactured in a couple of days in a petri dish. Each batch takes 8 weeks to be grown in its own food supply, and then it is gently dehydrated, put to sleep, encapsulated, where it will stay asleep for literally hundreds of thousands of years, or until it hits 16% moisture. When it hits your gut, it gets produced, it comes alive, and it goes to work. If you've ever bought probiotics that have to be kept in the fridge, you've got to ask yourself, if they have to be kept in the fridge to keep cool to survive, what's going to happen when they hit the 97 degrees and all the acid of the stomach? Probably not a lot. The other thing to consider is what this product is made up of. The soil-borne organisms have been part of all life on Earth for 3.5 billion years. So when you start killing off the very thing that created life on Earth, what do you think the outcome's going to be? It's probably not healthy. And this product is truly nature's gift to the planet. This was created by one of the world's top microbiologists over 45 years ago. And he did so by introducing these products, these strains. The original formula was 8 different strains of bacteria. Now, what's interesting about these strains is that, there's a strain, but it could have upwards of 5,000 different varieties of that one strain. So what this scientist did is he introduced each one of these individual bacterial strains to another one from another group, and he did that 8 times. Now, if you think about this for a moment, imagine this one has 5,000 different varieties. This one has 2,000. The next one has 3,000. The next one has 8,000. One has a couple of thousand. 8 times. The maths of making this successful would make winning lotto seem like a sure thing. The odds are pretty much impossible. That's why he calls this an accident, and we call this nature's gift to fix the planet, starting with us. And why we know this is the solution is because this works on all life. As we've finished our trials, this doesn't just work on human beings. It works on plants. It works on chickens, turkeys, pigs, cattle. It even works on fish. Same solution, same results. As we said, this product was created 45 years ago. And for those of you who know a little about sourdough bread, each loaf of bread is started with a little bit of the original starter. I read the other day, there's a sourdough loaf going around Boulder that supposedly started over 235 years ago. Well, this particular batch, it was 45 years ago of the soil-borne organisms. This gift from nature was created. Now, every time a new batch is grown, they take a small section of that batch, put it into their food source, which is the fulvic and humic minerals, and they're allowed to grow for 8 weeks. That's it. Put to sleep, encapsulate it, and there they go until we eat them. And the most important aspect of this product is that it has a 45-year history. There are no mysteries about what this product can do anymore. And it's food, ladies and gentlemen. Used to be part of our food chain till we decided in our wisdom to kill all of those wonderful bacteria off, because everybody knows bacteria is bad, right? At least if you listen to them. So what are the benefits of taking this product? It does restore gut balance. Pretty much it. That's all we're looking for. That creates efficiency in all living things. We find that in the animals taking these supplements, they eat 20% less food, they grow 20% bigger and 20% faster consistently. That just comes from efficient stomachs. It creates natural immunity, not only in humans, but in animals. As we said, this is nature's solution to the biggest challenge facing the planet today. And it's only a single product to take. It's so confusing. If you look at the probiotic market now, they're talking about prebiotics. They're talking about probiotics. They're talking about postbiotics. And now they're all brought in symbiotics. 4 products. This is just a single product to take, and very low doses. 1 capsule a day to start off with, then up to 2. You build it up until you find your level. This is also quite important for people. We're so busy and so set in our ways that we don't want to have to start eating differently or exercising or do all these different things that a lot of products require you to do if they're supposedly going to work. This requires very little. We suggest you definitely increase your water intake, because this is a significant detoxification product. And the simple solution to healthy life is good nutrition in and the toxins out. And that's exactly what this product does. It gives your gut the ability to absorb those nutrients and to get rid of all of the toxins and bad side effects of the products that we eat, because not everything we eat is beneficial to us. It has to be removed. The product itself, by the way, as I said, it lasts a long time. There is technically no use-by date. When you put it into a bottle and a capsule, you have to put one on it. We say 5 years. But while it's sitting in the barrel, literally, you can open that barrel in 300,000 years, get it wet, and it'll still come to life and go to work. So let's have a quick look at the product. It's unique, as we said, and we guarantee it. We know the results. It's not that we want to go out of business, and we certainly don't want to give people their money back. We don't have to, because we know when you take this as directed, in 3 months, you will feel a significant difference in your life. There's nothing on the market with this history. It's been fully medically researched by Dr. Peter Rothschild. This is his website. So as you can see, if you want to go and visit that, you will see a clinical study, his life's work. And this is actually research done on this original formula specific to this product. These are authentic foundational health benefits that are produced in the body. Things that, I said this the other day, and maybe it's not a good analogy. I've never lost a limb, but I can't imagine it to be great. It'd be horrific. But if you're born into life with a limb missing, that's just life. You get on with it, as opposed to having, say, losing a limb when you're in your 30s or 40s because you've got used to life being with that limb. I can tell for a lot of people taking this product, you're going to start to feel what life is actually supposed to be like for the first time. It's like you suddenly have this limb reattached because you have your body working the way it was designed. Now, why do I say that? Well, maybe that the medical profession doesn't want it working the way it's designed. Because if you think about it, when you take antibiotics, it kills off your gut flora for about a year. That means all natural immunity is gone. That means if you have any bug floating around, you're likely to catch it. And since you've got no natural immunity, you have to go to the doctor to get something to treat it. And so the self-fulfilling prophecy begins. This is the only product created to restore gut balance that actually works. There are a lot of products out there that talk about it, but they don't produce the results. This is designated as a food by the FDA. Technically, it's a medical food, but we'll just stick to this as being a food. The original formula of this, like we said, 45 years ago, back in the 90s, was sold in a multi-level marketing company, and it did over $30 million a year before it imploded. And this was a product created by the world's leading macrobiologist. Unfortunately, you wouldn't know his name if we mentioned it, because he's been working with the US government, we'll say quietly, clandestinely, whatever you want to call it, for pretty much the last 30 years. Now, like any business, and we are a business, we have competition. Like we said, there's an $84 billion global industry in the probiotics market. Products that don't really work, complex solutions for a very simple problem. But let's never let the facts get away in a good story, okay? Because why would you? Hence, we give an unconditional money-back guarantee, because you shouldn't believe us. Don't believe anybody. Everybody lies. Believe the product. Now, how are we going to sell this? There are many ways of going about this. Given that we're up against the $4.7 trillion medical industry, we figured going the traditional path probably isn't going to get us a long way. And by the way, we have experience in this. So we chose affiliate marketing. Now, when we talk about affiliate marketing, most people don't know, but the company Amazon, of course, you know who Amazon is, for the first 17 years in business, never spent a cent on advertising. They simply used affiliate marketing. And most of those affiliate marketers that got involved with Amazon in the early days are multi-millionaires. However, that type of affiliate marketing is just designed for people with websites to refer people to their website. So it's not really a lot of personal referral. It's just, like you could be on, let's say, Microsoft's website or Apple's website, reading a story or reading the news, and there's a link there, and you click on it and off you go, and there's a product and you buy it. Well, you'll find Microsoft advertise, they get affiliate commissions from that. It's very simple. This is not multi-level marketing. There is a vast difference between multi-level marketing and affiliate marketing. The most important difference is that multi-level marketing requires selling. You register a business in the state that you're in, well, register with the company in the state you're in, and then you're in business representing them. You have to sell. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, most people don't want to sell. They suck at it. We don't require you to make a monthly order. If your product is good enough, people will buy it. It's that simple. Now, would we like to make you buy every month so they have to get paid? Well, that would be a good way of forcing you to buy product. But we come from the background of this industry. And one thing we know, when it's not covered by insurance and you have to actually pay for it, some months you just can't afford it. It's just a reality of life. And it really sucks if you've made some money and they won't give it to you because you don't place an order. So none of that. No monthly orders. One referral equals potential lifetime sales. Simple as that. You introduce someone to the business, they buy it every month, they buy it this month, in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, you still get paid.
Alistair, your voice.
Sorry, losing me
Yes.
again. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. And the whole cost to this is $5. That's the registration fee to become an affiliate, and you don't even pay that up front. You'll simply have it deducted out of the first commission you make. Nothing out of pocket. Now, the only way you can become an affiliate, unfortunately, is to be a customer, because we don't believe in referring products that you haven't taken. The most important thing we believe in this type of concept is that you become a product of the product. Then when you tell someone about it, you're not selling them, because most people will know that you don't know anything about health. But they couldn't relate to the fact that maybe you have an upset stomach and you took a product that worked and you're just passing that on to them. It's very, very simple. Like a good movie, if it works, you have no problem passing it on. The fact that we're going to pay you to do that is irrelevant. So what makes our affiliate marketing a bit different? Well, we chose this model for the product. This isn't how we wanted to go to business specifically. We look at the product and we decide what's the best way to market this. And this is the number one way of selling this product. It's driven by social media sales. The world is connected by social media. And that social media is predominantly run by influencers, in the sense that everybody's listening to someone else for advice. We designed this for those influencers. The money is quite exceptional, and that's what turns a lot of people on. I believe, and Brooke and I have discussed this at length, and we've looked at what's been happening over them. We've been around this product now for well over 14 years. And we feel that even today, people don't like talking about their digestion. They're not going to sit down and talk about bowel movements or any of those things. They're still embarrassed about it. So we wanted to create a system that people didn't have to sit down and have a conversation. It's partly for us. We didn't want to have to sit on the phone all day and listen to people talk about their gut problems. It's not an enlightening conversation. So this way, people can just get the product, have it guaranteed, referred by a friend, find out for themselves. We're using a system called the Go App Pro affiliate program. You can look that up. This will be plugged in and turned on next week. I'm still in the process of going through this. I'll be quite honest. When I had a look at it, it was just a monster. It's been a long time since I've looked at this technology that's been available, and this was beyond a dream come true, but it was also a little bit beyond my technical ability to come to terms with it. So I'm still getting that handled, and next week that will be turned on, filled out, and ready to go. The other thing we'll be using is a company called the Conversion Pros. This is an online platform put forward or created by one of the top multi-level marketing people on the planet. He is phenomenal in that business, and he created the platform to help anybody who does online sales. It's $50 a month, and there is nothing like this out there. It is exceptional. So how do we pay? And this is important, because as much as we love the product, everybody also needs money to survive. So we pay 3 levels deep, which for a lot of people, that's a little confusing, because affiliate marketing is nearly always just one level. And there's a reason we pay 3 levels deep. But the first level, we pay 20% commission, which it's pretty much the highest affiliate commission I've seen paid anywhere. So on a $100 sale, that was going to pay you $20. Pretty simple. We also pay on the second level, and that pays 5%. So on a $100 sale, that's going to pay you $5. And we also pay this on the third level. $100 sale, $5. Now, level 2 and 3, we pay as a support fee. It's not really for commission. It's just that what we find is that when you find products like this that work, people like to talk about it sometimes. And they like to get on the phone to the support hotline and spend half an hour saying what a great product this is. Now, that's wonderful, and it's good that people need to do that. But if they're talking to the company, it's costing us money. And we feel that people are more interested in sharing this sort of stuff with their friends if they're going to. So we're going to pay people to listen. It's that simple. The other thing about paying that level of deep is that when you look at an influence, they might have 100,000 people that they influence. But how many people do they know? Because once now with this program, they will be able to get paid below that first level of people who listen to them, if that makes sense. So why are we doing a 90-day gut challenge? It's pretty straightforward. It's a risk-free product purchase for $1.11 a day to find out whether this product works. It's an incredibly confusing marketplace. Just a reality. When you talk about $90-odd billion a year, there are going to be every man and his dog out there with a different story. We were making it easy to buy and try without having to have a full explanation done by another person. We will be building the tools to do that work for you. Also, it's a bit easier to refer a product when you know the company is going to guarantee its results. You don't have to worry about a friend coming back and say, oh, I tried that stuff and it didn't work. You know, who are you to blah, blah, blah. Been there, done that. And quite often the fact the product didn't work is because they maybe didn't use it properly. Now, it takes approximately 120 days for all new blood cells to be regenerated. That's one of the reasons we choose the 90 days. The results are also undeniable in a before and after live blood analysis. So if you know a naturopath or a natural doctor in the area, go and have a blood test done beforehand and then go and have one done about 90 days later. That's how I actually got on the product nearly 12 years ago. I was challenged to have this before and after blood test done. And since I was in the health industry, I figured, why not? I'll prove I'm healthy. So I had the live blood analysis done, and then I swallowed some crow, went on the product, and went back 6 weeks later and discovered that my blood had been completely changed. It was unrecognizable in a good way. And I've been on the product ever since. Now, it's very important to understand this is not a symptomatic relief product. This is designed to restore gut balance. However, you may notice, and we certainly get this feedback from people who have gut issues for often their entire life, that within a matter of days, they start to notice a difference. Yes, those symptoms are going away, but not because we're treating the symptoms. You are feeding the imbalance, which is correcting the imbalance, which is creating balance. And don't forget, this is just food. So let's get down to the real nitty gritty. How much money can I actually make in this? If you're interested in doing this as a business, then even if it's just to pay for the product, so you take it for free. I'm going to start off because this is a story that came back to me. In my younger years, I was a tradesman, and I went from painting roofs or restoring roofs to going into sales. And I pretty quickly became the #1 salesman because I learned that without sales, if you just told people that what the job is that you're going to do, they appreciated the truth and they gave me their business. But my boss, I was nearly always #1. He put me out with this old gentleman who we never saw in the office. We were always in the office trying to get leads as people called in wanting work done. And we never saw this guy. And he was always like second or third every month on sales. So they put me out with this guy, and I went out and I went to his place, and we're leaving the car here. We walked down the road and he started knocking on doors. And for about 2.5 hours, we walked around and he knocked on 200 doors. About probably 65% of those people went home. About 20 or so percent slammed the door in his face and abused him. But around 20 people listened to his pitch. And out of those 20 people, he made 3 appointments. So I went to one of his pitches that night, and he wasn't a spectacular salesman. He was good, he was consistent. And I left feeling, well, how could this guy be doing this so consistently? And the next day he explained it to me. And this is all he did. Every day he went out and he knocked on 200 doors, because he knew when he knocked on 200 doors that a percentage of those were going to not be home. A percentage of those were going to slam the door in his face. A percentage would listen. A percentage would make an appointment. And one of those 3 appointments would become a sale, which made him his money. He never stressed. He never worried about how much he was going to make. And every door he knocked on, whether no one was home or whether there was someone abusing him, he walked away saying, thank you very much. That was $1 I just made. Now, I learned the lesson. I never knocked on a door because, unfortunately, if you do go door knocking, you have to have the personality to deal with people slamming the door in your face and abusing you. I apparently don't have that personality. But it did teach me a phenomenal thing about sales. It's just numbers. It's how many people do you need to see this product to get your sales? Now, the reality in this business model we're offering, most people are not looking to become millionaires. They may think they are, but most of us today are just looking to pay for an extra pair of shoes for our kids or some food for the family. It's getting that bad. So it's not about making tens of thousands of dollars a month. For a lot of people, it's just an extra $100, $200, $300 a month can make all the difference in their world. But the reality in this business, it's pretty simple. You put in the time and the effort, you get the returns. The more time, the more effort, the higher the returns. And in the early days, the more time and effort you put in, the greater returns later on. As a side hustle or a major income source, this is your choice. How you want to do this is very, very much up to you. And you can start off just doing it as a side hustle. You can then build it into a real business, or you can do anything in between. As I said earlier, one referral equals lifetime referral commissions on multiple products. It's, yes, we're selling the gut product today, but that's only our first product. The whole concept of this is very straightforward. Okay, I'll come back to that in a second. In the next slide, actually, because the answer to the question of how much money can I make is how much do you need to? Nothing to millions. Totally up to you. So the next steps for Wondrous World. We're going to spend the next 3 months testing and implementation of our marketing strategy. Why? It's very simple. We don't know. There is no guarantees in life. And you don't go into a business saying, yeah, this is going to work. You go into a business going, we believe this is going to work, and seeing what does work and changing the things that don't. So we spend the next 3 months making sure that the business is solid, all the systems work, and we start to grow our inventory base. We are offering two-week free samples on the first 200 orders. With our margins, we can't afford to continue to do this initially. Once we have these initial 200 orders in, we will start to make available the free sample packs for affiliates to purchase to pass them out if they want to. We don't think this is going to be essential, but we do know that this particular model works exceptionally well for bringing in customers. We're going to raise inventory capital. We're not starting off with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of inventory. We've done that before and made the mistake. This is a product that we can't afford, literally, to order a huge amount of product up front. We build this as we go. We grow according to what we can afford. That way, everybody wins. The supplier wins. He's not overloaded with an initial order and then nothing. This is a steady, slow growth. We're going to build our initial human resource team, because currently it's just Brooke and I, although that is being added to, as you've heard. We have a lot of fantastic support. And as the money starts to come in, we'll be able to afford to start to employ people. And we're going to complete our trials. And there is a fair bit more to be done on the food side of it. And that will be done over the next 3 months. We've got a fantastic garden in Wiggins going in this year, and we'll be completing our food trials down there and introducing these products later on. Now, the idea, of course, completing the trials is, as we develop these new products, if you've got customers that have taken the gut product, it's very easy for us to send them a free sample, for example, of a dog chew once we produce that line, or the fertilizer for their houseplants or their garden. And as we add more and more products, you will find yourself getting paid more and more commissions without ever having to create more sales. One customer for life. These are the new products we're talking about, and they all work exactly the same way. People are amazed these days when they actually buy a product that works as advertised. But when one works not only as advertised, but almost beyond belief, then you can create a wave of viral referrals that could become a little scary. We hope we experience that, but not for another probably 6 to 9 months. And that's the time we expect to put the pedal to the metal, in around 6 to 9 months, once our inventory level is built and we're ready to go fully global. So how do you get started? Or how do I get started? It's very simple. You simply become a customer. Register as an affiliate. That will be available from probably Monday or Tuesday. Next week, I'll be reaching out to all of our customers to see who wants to become an affiliate and make sure we know who referred who, so that we can put everybody in the right line. Choose how hard you want to play with this. This is that simple. It's your choice. Sometimes you'll have plenty of time, sometimes none. Nearly all of our marketing resources will be free. We don't believe in advertising because no one believes it anyway. So it's not like you need a fortune to get started. We can do little things like flyers down on community notice boards, notices on Nextdoor and other social media platforms. These are very, very simple ways to spread the word. So you create a plan and you simply get started. I've always worked on a basis. I learned this when I was very young. Who has my customers first, and how do I get them to send them to me? And this is when we're talking about the influencers and people like that. If you look in your life and you see people who have influence, even non-profit organizations, they're always looking for cash. This is an opportunity for them to offer their customer list something actual real, a real bonus, a real product, and they get to earn the money in return. Everybody wins. Now, one of my favorite people in business, and people often look at me a bit strangely when I say Ray Kroc and McDonald's. And the reason for that is because here's a guy at 52. He didn't start until he was 52, and yet he went on to feed 1% of the world's population. That's pretty awesome. Now, I won't say he fed them well, but just from a business model, he did a pretty phenomenal job. And one of my favorite stories is he took a bunch of business students to lunch, and he was teaching at I think it was Harvard, one of the colleges, and he put $100 on the bar, and he said that $100 is for the person that can tell me the business that I'm in. At the end of lunch, the $100 was still on the bar, and he turned around and said to them, I'm in the real estate business. I just use hamburgers to pay for it.
Voice, Alistair.
Sorry, I'll repeat that. So Ray turned around and told that table full of marketing students that he was in the real estate business and he just used hamburgers to pay for it. Our business is acquiring like-minded customers or like-minded people, people who will respond and like the idea that nature can offer them a solution, not drugs. Pretty much that's it for me. It's not a complicated business. This is just a 1 + 1 = 2 scenario. It's one of my favorite analogies. You know, it's an old, I remember this when I was first taught, I was embarrassed. Someone said to me, if I offered you $2 million or a machine and 1 cent, and that machine could double that 1 cent every day for 30 days, what would you take? Well, I immediately said the $2 million because I was young and stupid. If I'd thought about it and did the maths, I would have said no, because if I'd taken the 1 cent, that would be around $5.4 million after 30 days. Trouble is, after about like 21 days, you're about ready to give up because you're up to about $80 or 90. It's a ridiculously slow thing to go through. But if you've ever experienced direct sales and ever experienced this kind of phenomenon where you start to see it take off, it is one of the most exciting and truly liberating experiences because you have nothing to do with it. Now, on this side of the business, when you watch that happen, it can be a little scary because you don't have a break. It's not like you can say, okay, stop talking to people. Once this baby is off the lead, it's off the lead. And that happens today. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. I'm open to any questions, and I invite you, if you want to come and make some money, we are very much do as we do, not do as we say. So I will be leading the affiliate program by example, showing anybody who wants to work with me, we'll just do it together. I'll show you every single step. And that way we'll find out together what works. Thanks for your time. Any questions?
Yes. So everybody, thank you, Alistair. Please just go ahead and you can either raise your hand or just step up. And great to see you, Francis, and all the rest of you. Emma, thank you so much. And just Katie. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Questions? Yes, go ahead, Ariel.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Yeah, so you mentioned that there was a similar product back in the 90s and that it collapsed. Could you go more into why that business model failed back then?
Yeah. It's called human nature. Unfortunately, when you see a product, to give you a bit of a history behind this, the first 10 years once this product was developed, it was sold by a group of about just under 500 natural health doctors. That's the only way you could get hold of the product. Then this distribution started to open up, and a gentleman, I won't mention his name, got hold of the distribution rights. And that's when things started to go a little crazy. He ended up in business with another gentleman who built this company, the two of them, and both of them were sharks, basically. They got to the point where they tried to eat each other, and neither one was successful. One survived, the other one had to go away, and he started another business. And that was the end of the MLM company, basically. A good friend of ours was involved in that company, and that was 29 years ago. She bought that business, and she still owns the international distribution rights to that business today. She's a very good friend of Brooks, and we kind of have a very long and involved history with this product and all the nasty details that have gone on, because when you have a product that can produce the results this does, and we can't tell you what this does. It's the most frustrating thing, because we'd get shut down if we actually told you what this product can do. Not maybe, but can do, does do, and has done for 45 years, because the law does not allow you to tell you that. They just lock you up for it. However, when you look at probably the best testimonial I could talk about is one that's available. Some of you may have heard of a company called Garden of Life. Okay, it was sold about 2016 to Nestle for $3.5 billion. And the gentleman who started that company is a guy called Jordan Rubin. And he, the testimonial you can read, and we have that available. It's very powerful testimonial, so powerful the FDA made our supplier take it off her website, even though it's just a testimonial, but hey, it was a good one. So anyway, this gentleman, he was in his late teens. He had been healthy his entire life, raised by a naturopath, chiropractor, doctor, father, and went off to college, started eating junk food and stress, and ended up with Crohn's disease. At the time where he was introduced to this product, his heart rate was about 225 beats a minute, resting heart rate. 30 bowel movements a day. He was nearly dead. He weighed 104 pounds. He went on this product. Within 3 months, symptoms had disappeared. And about a little over a year later, after all of this happened, when all of the distribution stuff got sorted, he lost access to the product. He could no longer get access to this product. So what he did was he made up his own and started a business called Garden of Life. And his testimonial, his story was so powerful, he built a $3.5 billion business on it, until he got cancer as a young man and had to sell it. I wonder if that was because for those 16 years, he just told the lie that his product was the one that cured him. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And this is a very inconvenient truth. We don't talk a lot about it because we don't really want Nestle coming after us. So this is one of the most powerful testimonials you will read anywhere, and it certainly shows the history of the product. And this is just to explain, the original formula that was used was 8 strains. Today we have a 10-strain product, because we found that over the last 40 years, human gut has become a lot worse. Let's just put it that way.
Sensitive.
A lot more sensitive. So we found the initial formula was quite aggressive. Plus, people had to take up to 8 to 16 capsules a day to build up to that. Whereas this far less product, and people just don't like taking that many capsules. So this has been improved, and this is the new formula. It's exclusive to us. There's some very exciting stuff about to come out. We can't talk about that yet, but in about 30 to 60 days, we're ready to blow the lid off the health industry worldwide. So hopefully, Ariel, that answers your question. It's been a very interesting history behind this product, and I could talk for hours about it. But just let's put it this way. When you consider it's a $4.7 trillion medical industry out there, and this is probably the #1 product that fights that, you can imagine that it's not been particularly welcomed to the market. And the person that our friend that's owned that distribution company for 29 years, the horror stories that she has been through, again, we could talk to you for hours about it. And it's not fun. We're not suggesting this is a product that is going to be welcomed by the infrastructure that's out there, but we know it's going to be welcomed by the people who take it.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, it was a great question.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Oh, firstly, Ariel, did I answer your question adequately?
I believe so. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask, Ariel, where are you from?
I live in Coronado, not too far from Adam. So he's the one who.
Oh, fabulous. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Good to meet you.
I mean, if no one else has a question, my follow-up is more that just on a curiosity, once you heal the gut, do you need to continue taking the product, or is it you're kind of healed at that point?
Yeah,
And
no, this is Yeah, that's a great question, by the way, Ariel. This is, again, when you look at the cause of what we're going through, it's an imbalance. My favorite story is you look at the earth. It was created. Life formed on the earth. It was formed by creating bacteria. Bacteria created soil. Soil created all forms of life, including human beings. Human beings, in their genius, decided that bacteria are the enemy. So we kill off all of the bacteria in the soil. Can you finish this story? What comes next? Unfortunately, these SBOs were and are part of our diet, or supposed to be. So yes, once your gut is healed, you do need to continue to take a maintenance dose to make sure that you stay healed, because the world that we live in today is completely toxic for us, our bodies, and specifically our gut. The food, unless you're growing your own food, is so toxic that everything is just out to get us. So when you have this product, I like to refer it, it's a little bit like how the United Nations is supposed to be operating. If you can imagine a country full of different states, and all of those states get on well together, but one of them suddenly gets out of hand and starts picking on all the other states. So if you're not an aggressive type of community, you need someone to come and handle them, don't you? So ideally, you bring in the United Nations, and they're trained to deal with killers. So they restore balance to the environment. Well, do you want to say goodbye to those soldiers now? See you later. Thanks for coming. Or would you rather have them on guard permanently to make sure those so-and-sos down the road don't get out of hand again? So
Well, if it's UN, then I would say I'd rather not have them, but
yeah, no, I know. Like I said, the idea of the United Nations, not the reality. Okay, it's a tough world we live in, to give an accurate analogy. But these soil-borne organisms are part of our life. They have been for every living organism on the planet for billions of years. And the reality is, whether it's us doing it or not, we're melting the ice caps, and we're releasing bacteria into the environment that we have not seen. The human body has never experienced this, because we weren't around 500,000 years ago. But these bacteria were. And these bacteria were the frontline defense against these bacteria 500,000 years ago. So yeah, I want those in my body. Just to give you an idea, the creator of this product, the reason why you don't know him is because he is the only person in the world, I believe, that can cure radiation poisoning. He works for the US government, has been lent out on two pretty phenomenal occasions. One was Fukushima and the other one was Chernobyl. Okay, so if you can imagine a gentleman who has the ability to cure radiation poisoning, he's the guy who put this product together.
Using bacteria, that was the other part. So I just wanted to add on to what Alistair was saying. Once we no longer have a toxic world, meaning that we're not chemtrailed, we're not, fluoridated and chlorinated and GMO'd and all of those things. Once the microbiome is back in the soil, and with our food is grown nutritionally dense, we don't have a need for this kind of a product. So in my view, this is a product that we're using to bridge until we get to that place where we have that world that isn't toxic, and that we're not always fighting to stay healthy. But the point is that we need a bit of an edge right now. And so putting out there that there is a possibility for the creation of a world where we won't need this kind of product or any of the products, because we'll be getting it in our food and everything else. And we'll have clean water and good air to breathe, etc. So thank you. Any more questions, guys? Yes, Adam.
Hi, could you drop the link in the chat?
Absolutely. For sure.
Thank you.
I'll do that right now. So
Congratulations, guys. This is awesome.
oh,
Thank you, Adam.
Excited to try it out.
thank you so much for being here.
One of the things,
And bro, I will, excuse me. There's something you described to me about this a while ago that was like such an awesome visual about the way the consortia, the way the bacteria was made, that I guess it's just been sticky in my mind. That because there's 10 million prebiotic, probiotic, as Alistair was saying. And it's like, all right, make something really quickly and, you know, get some bacteria together and just go. And now put it in your body. And what was really cool is thinking of it as, if, for those that have seen this like pendulum video of these pendulums getting into sync together, how rather than just throwing everything together in a petri dish and saying, all right, I hope you guys learn to get along, that the origination of this strain and even the way it's grown now, that it was one getting introduced to another, like two friends getting to meet and get into sync with one another. And then you get to introduce to your third friend in the consortia and get into sync with one another. And so now you end up with the consortia of these 8, I think it's now 10 different strains, that it is a happy family together that's learned to be in balance. And then when it goes in the body, now it's helping your gut learn to get into sync and balance together. But it's like a collection of 10 that's now helping the rest get into sync and get into flow with one another. So just once you explain that to me over that breakfast, Brooke, and since then, like that's been a sticky visual in my head. So wanted to share that here too.
Thanks, Adam.
Adam, thank you. It's amazing to hear that you were listening so brilliantly and can tell me back. So thank you. Wow, that made
Actually-
my day. Thanks so much, Adam.
Actually,
course.
I did not share one of my favorite analogies as to how this was
On
created.
your volume.
Sorry, I haven't shared with you one of my favorite analogies of this, and you know, I'm a big film buff because I use a lot of analogies from films to explain things. And of course, just about everybody's heard of the mythical Avengers. And as I say, this consortia is the equivalent of the Avengers of the bacterial world, because when you understand that, you know, one of these strains might have 5,000 different substrains in it, well, which one of those substrains is actually the real, you know, super being? So he went through and he found those, and then he introduced them to each other. So just like the so-called mythical Avengers, on their own, these guys are a phenomenal entity. They do an amazing job. But when you put them together, unbeatable. Absolutely unbeatable. And with the next part of this analogy, you'll be hearing in about 30 to 60 days. And oh, I got to shut up. I'll get into trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Margaret, I know you had your hand up, so please jump in.
It wasn't a question. I've had some experience with this in the last couple of years, and Alistair and Brooke have been fantastic in helping us. We had a friend with a very, very sick dog, and as we know that you know, the animals, you can't just talk about it and it's going to work. And Alistair just about overnighted us some of the dog chews, and this little pup just got better and better and better. And I know the mom was excited as anything, and so that's been fantastic. And also working with the fertilizer, it's been fantastic. The amendment, mostly for me, I've used it so far on houseplants, and they just change and morph into the healthiest looking plants. And so I know I'm looking forward to sharing it further. And so just thank you.
Oh, thank you, Margaret. Really love it.
It's one of the things that's for people listening in, it's odd because we have been on this journey for nearly 7 years, and Margaret has
We
been
can't
with
hear
us-
you, Alistair.
Gee, I don't know what's wrong with this. So we have been on this journey for 7 years, and Margaret's been pretty much with it. Well, you have from the very beginning, and before that. So it's great to have people who are still here on the journey with us. And now, and I can just say this from a personal perspective, I know Brooke feels this the same way. After nearly 7 years, we're really looking forward to return the confidence and the trust that you have all put in us by investing in this business. And not that anybody in our business invested to become rich, but it's about time you got paid back. And you are going to be extremely well paid back, because when you talk about creating wealth, the simplest way is find the biggest problem you can and then find a solution for it. And we have a solution to the biggest problems facing this world, and certainly the population on this world, the human population, and all of those poor animals that get dragged along with us. And I'm not a big fan of humanity, for those of you who know me. That's why I went down the path of the fertilizer and the animal supplements, because my commitment is to try and make those entities, those little animals and those people who share our world with us, make their life better. Give them, and if they're going to be raised to feed us, then they deserve the best possible life while they're on here, and the healthiest possible life. And if we can create actual healthy product for those animals, then in the end they become healthier for us. That's how we fix the food chain. And Alex, Ariel, that's how we get rid of having to take this product. We put it back where it belongs, in our food.
I saw that Katie, you were on. I was just wondering if you wanted to say hi and check in. Katie has been on the product as well. I don't know if she's in Mexico, so she sometimes has internet issues. And Francis, good to see you.
Nice to see you. Yeah, actually, I'm very, very much interested in this Wondrous God business. But I still have to find out how it can be able to align together or resonate with what we are doing here. And maybe I still have to study more, especially attend more lectures on, also read your the website. But it's very interesting and I like it, and I feel it can be a very good solution for the world population, including where we stay, because gut problems are very, very many, and the gut diseases are so very high. Many people suffer for many years, for a long time, because of the gut, which is not healthy. So if they find a solution to the gut, then I think many other organs also can be balanced, because gut is the main one, which supplies the food, the nutrition.
Yes.
I can understand that one. So it's very important and very clear that really, if we solve the problems of the gut, then you can solve the problem of the food and assimilation in the body, and the body can be healthy and ready to fight for itself. Because we know the body can heal itself if it is given opportunity and a good environment. So
Exactly.
I can see naturally,
Just
Wondrous
one thing.
God.
I just want to say, Francis, if I can, that when we're looking at countries like yours, our affiliate program is designed mostly for the Western world, and we can't guarantee that it's going to work in every country. But we can guarantee you that we will find a solution that is appropriate for every country, because this product has to be delivered to every country and every person in the world in a manner that's affordable for everybody. So we can't guarantee one size fits all, because this is a different world, but we will find the solutions for every single country as we go forward.
Sure.
And
That's our hope.
Francis is in Rwanda, guys, just so you know.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And thank you very much for your presentation. And I know actually if there's an opportunity, it's really very wonderful to work with you. Thank you.
Oh, you too, Francis, always. How lovely. Anybody else? Anybody else have any more questions? These are great questions. I really appreciate it. Well, if nobody has any more questions, and then we'll close it out. But with so much gratitude to everybody, thank you so much for being here. We just really, really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to going forward and thriving, everybody. So have a great rest of the day, and stay healthy. And thanks again.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.